Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm bringing you a recipe that I've gotten tagged to make for you all over social media for a really long time. It is a braided Nutella bread. Now, I've been seeing pictures of this thing everywhere, so I had to make it my own. I had to give it my own spin, and I think this is absolutely delightful. It's beautiful to look at, and it is absolutely delicious. I love carbs. Hashtag sorry, I'm not sorry. And I know you do too, which is why you asked for this recipe, and I love you for it. The ingredients you'll need are few basic and simple ones, starting with some all-purpose flour, a good pinch of salt, granulated sugar, some warm water, some whole milk, melted unsalted butter, yeast, and a little tiny bit more sugar. And you're gonna need, of course, Nutella, but that's gonna come in a little bit. For now, we're gonna get going on making our dough, which is so easy. I have some water here that's up to temperature at about 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And to that, I'm going to add in my yeast and just a little bit of sugar. The sugar just helps the yeast activate a little bit faster. So I'm gonna put that in there, give it a gentle little stir, and then set it aside until it's activated. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's activated. Now, a lot of people ask me, when I make yeast dough, it doesn't rise, it comes out really hard. What am I doing wrong? It's absolutely crucial that your yeast is activated before you move on to the next step. If I were to add my yeast that hasn't activated it to my recipe, it won't rise. And your yeast, it can have a few issues. One, it's expired, so make sure you check the expiration on your container. Two, you use water that's too hot and therefore it killed the yeast. And three, you use water that was too cold and it was too cold for yeast to activate. So make sure that you keep those in mind when you are working with yeast. Now I'm gonna make things really easy and simple on myself. I'm gonna make this in my standing mixer, and to that I'm gonna add in my flour, sugar, and salt. I'm gonna give this a quick little stir, and now I'm gonna just put this on, wait for, I'm just gonna clip it on, I'm gonna wait for my yeast to be activated, and then we'll add all of the liquid. You can see that my yeast is activated, it's nice and foamy, and it really smells like a bakery in here. That's when you know your yeast is ready. Now I'm gonna add this to my flour mixture. I'm gonna make sure I get every single bit of this out. I don't wanna leave anything behind. And then I'm also gonna add in my whole milk, no skim, no fat-free, gotta have the whole milk, and some unsalted butter that I've melted and it's slightly cold now. And now all I'm gonna do is raise this up and then mix it on medium speed for about 5 to 6 minutes or until your dough comes together. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's there, but give it a gentle scrape around the edges if you think it needs it. Gorgeous. Now this has been mixing for about 7 minutes, and now I do want to warn you that if in the beginning when it starts to mix it looks like it's all crumbly, you're going to be tempted to add more liquid, but don't. Just let it mix, let it knead, because once that flour absorbs all the liquid, then you're left with this gorgeous thing. I mean, it's got little dimples in it, it's got little, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I'm just shaping this into a ball. Nothing perfect. I've got the bowl that I had my flour in. I've got it oiled with some vegetable oil, and now I'm just going to take whatever's left over around the sides and then just brush it on the top because I don't want this to form any ugly skin or anything. And I'm going to wrap this in plastic wrap, stick it somewhere warm, and allow it to rise for about an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes 2. It really all depends on how warm the environment you're putting this in is and how draft free it is. If I were to put this near my kitchen door and I'm opening the door constantly, then the draft is it's not gonna make this rise. So keep it somewhere nice and warm. And my favorite spot, and I've told you guys this a million times, I stick it right into the microwave. I don't turn the microwave on, I stick it in there, that way it's not disturbed, and most of the time I turn the oven on to bake something else, so the warmth from the oven rises up into the microwave and it makes this rise really nice and quickly. So I'm gonna cover this up, let it rise, and then we'll proceed. My dough has been rising for about an hour and a half and it looks beautiful. I'm gonna uncover this. I'm gonna actually save the plastic because this needs to rest for a bit. So now I wanna get it out of here. I actually have a dough scraper. Let me get a little tiny bit of flour on my work surface so that nothing sticks. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love, and a lot of people don't, but I love working with yeast dough. I think there's just no greater pleasure than when your yeast dough just comes out perfect. Now, I'm gonna make 2 smaller loaves. You can make 1 giant one if you want to. I'll make 2 smaller ones because one I'm gonna give away and one I'm gonna keep. So I'm going to just divide my dough in half. Set this half aside and then work with this one. And just flour my surface a bit more. Okay, I can stretch this with my hands. If you need to get a rolling pin out, by all means, go ahead and do so. But as you can see, doing it with my hand works really well. I think I've had so much experience working with dough that I know what I'm looking for, but you know, maybe just to make you happy, I'll get a rolling pin out. That looks good. I want it to be about, I'd say, 8 or 9 inches wide. And I don't even know how long, but it works. Then I've got my Nutella. This is just my favorite. You guys know I am a sucker for this stuff. I grew up eating it, so if any way, shape, or form I can eat this, I do. Spread this over the surface of your dough. Don't go all the way to the edge because as you roll this, it's going to kind of spill out a bit, but do try to get it as even as you can. And now, like a jelly roll, starting from the longer edge, you are going to just roll this baby up, like so. Make sure, I'm just going to cut off that little piece. Make sure you pinch the ends on one side like that, and then you take your knife, leave about a ½ inch up here, not cut. Slice it like so, and then that's what's exposed, okay? So then this is a 2-strand braid. It's really simple and really easy. All you're gonna do is you are going to wrap this around each other like that. And then just make sure you pinch the bottom. And now I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other one. I'm gonna put this on my baking sheet. It is a bit messy, but it's gonna be beautiful when it's done. I'm going to put this on my baking sheet and then move on to the other one. I'm going to clean up just a little tiny bit. I'm just going to cover them like so, really loosely with the plastic wrap, and then just let them rest for about a ½ hour, and then we will be ready to bake them. I know they look messy now, but trust me when I tell you, these will be a showstopper when they come out of the oven. These beauties were in the oven for around 25 minutes. I have let them cool completely and they look, I mean, really, let's be real here. Can we just take a second to look at this? And now, like I mentioned before, you can make 1 big one, it would be gorgeous, but I'm making 2. I'm gonna give this one away tomorrow to friends because it is looking just a little bit, not that it's looking better, but I just love the plumpness of it. And this chocolate-filled one, look at this guy. I mean, I just don't even know what to say. This one is coming home to mama. And I am gonna give this a slice right here. I know exactly where I want it. I want this slice. Yes, I'm cutting it on an angle because that way I get a much bigger slice. Smells like, I mean, look at that. It just smells like pane Nutella. When I was growing up, my mother always took Nutella and like she would spread it on a piece of Italian bread, and this is kind of like that, except it's all in one. It all bakes together. The outside of the Nutella kind of hardens a little bit and it becomes like a chocolate coating. I mean, I don't know what to say. It is like an Italian bread lover, chocolate lover's dream. Really? I don't even know what to say. I'm so excited. And I want you to recreate this recipe. Please, if you love bread, if you love Nutella, this is the recipe for you. I don't even know what to say. Go to laurainthekitchen.com, get the recipe, make this. Please tag me on social media. I want to be able to put together a collage of just Nutella bread. So we can spread the love of Nutella bread around the world. I hope you've enjoyed spending time with me. Please make this. Let me know how you like it, and I will see you next time. I'm going to go back to eating.